Welcome back to Wellness Through Reading, a podcast dedicated to keeping reading a daily habit as a form of self-care. I am your host, Tanisha, and today I'm tackling one of the most common resolutions every year, setting New Year's goals that actually stick with you. The beginning of a new year can feel like a blank canvas, full of potential, fresh starts, but as we all know, the excitement of New Year's resolutions oftentimes fades very fast. Well, why? Because many of us set goals that are just too big, too vague, and just too unrealistic, even though we have good intentions with them. It's just, within the time frame that we have and what you really want to achieve, it can be overwhelming. And so, how can you set New Year's goals that can not only motivate you, but also are achievable? Well, that's what today's episode is all about. I'll be exploring how to set realistic goals that are grounded in reality so you can make 2025 your most productive and fulfilling year yet. Especially for us book lovers. So, let's dive in. Well, first things first, why do we often fail to stick to our New Year's goals? A lot of it comes down to the all or nothing mentality. Maybe you set a goal to lose 30 pounds in 3 months or to work out 7 days a week. Big, exciting goals, which are very good. I mean, health is very important, but also very challenging. Without the right plan in place, it's easy to fall off track. Research shows that 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February. So literally 2 months in, it's like, nope. So why? Because they're often too broad, too ambitious, or simply not something we can sustain long term. And that's the key goal here. So how can we avoid these pitfalls? Let's look at how to make your goals both meaningful and achievable. So I want to talk about the SMART goal framework. So SMART in this instance stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So specific. We're starting with specific. Anyone else have issues saying that word? But yeah, it is clear and focused goals. It's very clear cut to the point. Case in point, I'm going to use my example of how many books I want to read this year. So last year I had set a goal of reading 100 books and I reached 30. So 30% of the way there, but yeah, my goal last year was a bit too ambitious. So this year I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to say 50 books this year. Specific, straight to the point. I'm going to read 50 books this year. So measurable, something that you can track. So on a month-to-month basis, what I'm going to do is read roughly 50 books a year. That breaks down to roughly 4 to 5 books per month. Measurable. So that's my estimate. So that's measurable being obviously how you can measure that you're doing this well. So all month to month, I'm going to make sure I read at least 4 to 5 books. So achievable, realistic given your resources and time frame. For me, this is very much so realistic because apart from doing this podcast, I like many of you who are listening, I work full-time job. So that's realistic to me. And the time frame that I have as well too. So making sure you dedicate your time as well. And relevant, aligning with your values and long-term objectives. So if you are someone who hates running, but you made it a SMART goal to actually go out and run every day, that's not aligning with your goals there. So obviously as book lovers, this a goal of how many books I want to read or how often I want to read, that's more in line with what you love and your objective. So if it's something that you love to do, then you're more inclined to do it. That's what the relevant part of SMART means. And time bound, a deadline or a time frame for completion. Things that have a deadline get done. Not only do they get done, but they get done sooner. I feel like if I just give something a lot of time, then it's not gonna get done. Give yourself a deadline. Same way back in school when we had deadlines for homework, give yourself a deadline for your goals. Even if you don't achieve your goal, at least you may have at least started on the path, or at least you're almost there. So hey, there you go. So let's break this down with So by making your goals SMART, you can increase your chances of success and avoiding the feelings of being overwhelmed at the very last minute. So onward now. So set smaller incremental goals. So this is another thing that I'm doing this year to help achieve my goals, especially with my reading as well too. Because another key to achieving your New Year's resolution is setting small incremental goals rather than diving into the deep end with huge transformation. Break your large goal into manageable steps. For example, if your goal is to write a book, don't aim to finish the entire manuscript in a month. Instead, set a target of 500 words per day or finish a chapter per week. These smaller milestones will keep you motivated and keep you seeing progress, even when the bigger picture feels far away. So that's for my writers out there, but also for my readers as well too. For me, I'm just going to use my example of reading 50 books this year. That's 4 books a week. It's roughly a book a week. So depending on the book I'm reading, this is many chapters I want to finish per day, and then essentially taking small baby steps. That way you can get to your goal instead of taking larger steps. That way you run out of energy. So onward then to the power of accountability. So this is going to be another good one as well. It's no secret that when you accountability can make or break your goal setting journey. Whether it's a friend, a mentor, or even a social media group, sharing your goal with someone else can help you keep motivated and stay tracking as well too. So find someone to hold you accountable. Maybe it's a workout buddy, maybe it's a reading group, maybe it's an Instagram page. I do have an Instagram page of Wellness Through Reading. Go ahead and look us up as well too. So I'll be keeping track of my reading goals. Also, I'll be keeping track. I'll be posting updates on the podcast. Also, the tips and tricks on how to keep reading a daily habit as well too. And also, this is another important part of just setting goals and keeping them, to embrace flexibility and normalize giving yourself self-compassion. Now, I want to talk about because it's often overlooked, the flexibility and self-compassion portion, because life happens and things don't always go as planned. Maybe you get sick or a work project comes up, it takes more of your time, you're moving, things happen, life happens, life be lifing. So be kind to yourself when you face setbacks. Adapt your plan if necessary, and don't be afraid to reevaluate your goals as you go. Remember, it's not perfection, it's progress. In fact, embracing flexibility will make your goals feel less like a burden and more like an ongoing journey and something that's enjoyable. And that's the mindset that keeps you going even when the initial motivation fades. Because that's the thing, once you set your goals, fired up, ready to go, but then February, March, April, May, June come around, and then you start to wane a little bit. So things do happen, but once you do hit those little small milestones and you get that goal, celebrate your win along the way. It's too often we wait until the very end to reward ourselves, but celebrating those small milestones along the way keeps us motivated high and keeps you connected to your why. Why am I doing this? Why do I want this? And maybe you hit your weekly exercise goal. Maybe you finished that chapter per week. Maybe you took time to take care of yourself. Maybe you paid your bills on time. Maybe you did something. Celebrate it, whether it's a small treat, a moment of gratitude, or taking a moment to acknowledge your progress. Make sure you take time to give yourself that pat on the back that we all need from time to time. So make 2025 the year of achieving your goals. So setting realistic New Year's goals is all about clarity, small steps, accountability, and self-compassion. By following the SMART framework, breaking your goals into small tasks, and all of this, it can really help you from stop feeling overwhelmed and getting burned out. This year doesn't have to be the same as any other. Take the time to set goals that truly align with who you are and what you want to accomplish. And remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Keyword there, progress. So, yes, how we achieve our goals. I am super excited for this new season of Wellness Through Reading. I'll be doing a bigger deep dive in some of my books as well too. Also, I've been digging up some more research articles that I think you could really enjoy. Also, I might even get to do some interviews with one of my favorite authors, so stick tuned for that as well. I'm really excited. And also this month, I'm gonna say that this month I'm excited for the release of Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. That comes out on January 21st. I have it written down on my calendar. Super excited. I cannot wait. Goodness, I'm looking forward. One of the things I'm really looking forward to is Taryn and Darna and Violet, how they're doing after everything that happened in Iron Flame. I'm not gonna lie, Iron Flame took time for me to get used to, but I'm rereading it right now in preparation for Onyx Storm, so excited about that. Also, another current read is from Blood and Ash. It's taking me a minute to get into, because with fantasy, there's always that world building in the beginning that can be kind of like wah 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 wah. But after a while, honestly, I'm gonna have to go back and reread a couple of those chapters because I know it's gonna be good. I know it's gonna be good. So I'm like, I just need time to sit down and just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Also, there is a Netflix series called Interview with a Vampire. I've been living on a rock lately, so I haven't been watching a lot of TV. But Interview with a Vampire, written by Anne Rice. I actually read the book many years ago because I watched the movie with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise and Kirsten Dunst. And I always wanted to know how accurate it was. I never really cared much for the movie, but people always say the book is obviously always better. So I'm gonna go back. Actually, it's a series. It's Vampire Chronicles. So I'm gonna go back and read that because also another part of the series called Queen of the Damned. So I'm gonna go back and read that, and that'll definitely be an episode of itself. Just the whole gothic theme as well. So my favorite read of 2024 will definitely have to be Beverly Jenkins' Night Song. No, Beverly Jenkins Midnight. I'm sorry. I didn't get a chance to read Night. I read Midnight by Beverly Jenkins, and that was such a beautiful love story. Oh my goodness. He was a rebel. She was his daughter who was overworked by her oppressive father. I mean, it was just a beautiful. I'm just Billy Jenkins has like become one of my favorite authors, and even though Iron Flame did come out last year with Rebecca Yarros, that Midnight by Beverly Jenkins was my favorite read of 2024. So definitely something to add to the TBR list as well. Oh, speaking of my TBR list, I just recently added Quicksilver as well. So I've been looking into that. Also, comment below what books you're currently reading right now that I could add to the TBR list and what books that I should talk about in upcoming episodes. And with that, I thank you so much for listening. I thank you so much for tuning in. To all of my returning people, welcome back. I thank you so much for staying with me on all this. And also my new people who are coming, please hit that subscribe button so that way you stay updated when new podcast episodes are uploaded. Look me up on TikTok while we still have it, on Instagram, and also up on YouTube as well too. Wellness Through Reading. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of Wellness Through Reading. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe, share with a friend, leave a review, and I will see you next week, ready to crush those goals. Love and peace, and as always, good wellness and good reading. Bye!